Hey everybody, welcome to the Shead Show. I'm your host, Ryan Shed. This is my co-host, Ian Sherman.
On time. Present.
Maybe a minute. But much better than usual.
Way better. How you doing, man? Happy Friday.
Same to you, brother. How are you? I don't think we haven't been on Thanksgiving, have we?
Before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. How was Thanksgiving?
And Thanksgiving was great. I heard you kicked a hornet's nest though.
Oh, geez. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. If you guys want to hear what I have managed to do on social media over the last week or two, you definitely stick around. It's gotten interesting. But I want to start.
Shit has gotten real.
Speaking of shit getting real, LeVar Burton the other day was not fucking around.
Hold on. The more you know.
The more you know. And I wanted to play this for you and then transition into something else. But I just loved this video so much because it's like, I feel like this is how we all feel, or at least you and me on this show. So I'm going to play it. You tell me what you think.
Get going. Are there any moms for liberty in the house? Moms for liberty? No? Good. Then hands will not need to be thrown tonight.
Man. I gotta say.
I heard that. I was like,
yo. And I'm telling you right now, America lost by him not being on Jeopardy. Plain and simple.
Oh, thank you.
Lost.
Dude.
Like he is America's treasure.
There is a tweet out there of me saying that exact same thing whenever that was all going down. Yeah. I was like, you guys need to put LeVar Burton. Yeah, they messed up.
Like that was an easy transition.
That was easy.
He had a whole generation that grew up with him.
It made sense. His whole thing has been about educating.
His whole thing. He even played the smartest dude in Star Trek. Like he's always been. He's always been, man. Come on. LaForge, come on, man. Get out of here. My man's a dude with the visor. Shit. Forget about it.
And then later takes it off.
Forget about all that.
Yeah, that changed the whole dynamic.
But come on.
But speaking of dynamic,
America, you fucked up.
You did. I'm gonna co-sign that. But speaking of the more you know, sometimes it may not be better to know more. And
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, and I feel like with Moms of Liberty, finding out that one of the founders and her husband seem to be having some menage a trois issues in their marriage, and I kind of wish. Entanglement. I like that. I've heard that somewhere before.
Hands were thrown.
Hands were thrown.
So they not practicing what they preach is what you're telling me right now.
It definitely doesn't seem that those Christian values that they tend to set their soapbox up on really matter a whole lot to them.
Looks like that soapbox is the Kama Sutra book.
Yeah,
at home.
And probably getting a little wet and floppy at this point. Ooh.
Would that be a WAP? I'm sure that music's played in their house.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
the hypocrisy is so chef's kiss.
It is.
You love
really is.
Anytime that they literally say anything at all, and this goes for anybody that's coming from that camp, they're guilty. It's just gaslighting. It's just gaslighting.
That's all it is.
Projecting. It's just like, okay, you're pointing fingers over here, but what are you doing?
And just while we're there, I'm just gonna bring this up because it's bothered me. You know who Laura Loomer is?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Any of you who know who Laura Loomer is, she's the person that's going out saying that Judge Ingran's wife has this Twitter account that posts pro-Biden stuff, and so she's like really running with it. And I've been tweeting at her. She never does respond. But I asked her, I was like, when are you going to be doing the expose on Jeannie Thomas and her support for January 6th and Donald Trump and the sitting Supreme Court justice? Or do you not actually give a shit about what's right or wrong. You just want to play let's own the libs, or more importantly, you know that Donald Trump is guilty of shit, and the only way that you guys can conceive of getting him out of this is to project this mistrial agenda or context, whatever you want to call it, and
it's an abortion of justice is what they were trying to do.
Ooh, I like that. But that's exactly what it is. They know that he's not going to get off. There's no way this dude walks from this case as it sits, and because of that, they're trying to discredit the judge and throw a wrench in it all, and that's all this woman is doing. Like, and I'm just going to say this just because it's the beginning of the show, and if you're here, cool, might make you stick around, might make you leave, don't really care. But Donald Trump is a piece of shit. He is a con man. Okay, probably the most prolific fucking con man that we will ever see. George Santos. George Santos was on the way.
Hey, brother.
I think
both New York too.
I think he got shut down. I think he got shut down.
New York.
Finally.
I gotta take him from my backyard, man. Both New York.
If you are supporting Donald Trump, more importantly, if you are sending Donald Trump money, or you are one of the people that recently had your money stolen by him again, you're a fucking moron. Okay, I don't know any other way to put it. Like there's no nice way to put it. You have watched what has happened since 2016. It is now 2023, and you are still willing to send this man money.
Well, you know what I find really interesting about Donald, where everybody is like, well, my taxes were better and this and that, blah blah, inflation, and I love the
it's his tax plan that we're fucking dealing with now.
What's interesting about that is exactly what you're saying, that they had it actually etched out that within now this year, his tax plan is going to start penalizing all of us in this tax bracket and below, and you're going to create more of the have-nots than you're going to for all the friends. And it's like it was etched out to be perfect to blame the other party.
Shades of
and you're just like, here we go. Here we go.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
No,
it's
just so wild.
No, it is. And we're at a really weird, we keep talking about this every Friday that we come on. We're at this really weird tipping point, in our country right now. And people, I think the people that are really paying attention, I think majority of them see what's happening. I think that the election that just went down was a good sign. I think for I'm not going to say Democrats. I think for any
for a reasonable
American
who is just
any reasonable American that is looking and watching this, they're going, okay, this definitely isn't it. This is it.
But this is what I find interesting, is that it doesn't matter about polling. It doesn't matter about like who's wearing the brightest fucking t-shirt in the room. One thing I will say about Democrats is nobody is broadcasting. They're just going to go and vote. That's it. It's you can be upset today, and that's totally fine to air out your grievances and post that you're upset with Biden about X, Y, and Z. But the reality is, when you get into that booth and you see the fact that they're literally trying to make a national abortion ban and take your fucking health care away, which that is now on the docket. Going after Medicare, going after Medicaid, going after Social Security. And you're looking at this and you're like, okay, so when you get into the booth and you just see the black and white simple facts of who's trying to get more in your pocket versus who's trying to take more from you, who are you going to vote for? It's like it's just like every Republican woman that went and voted this last election. They're not telling their husbands. They're not telling their fathers. They're not telling their brothers. They're just going there and they're saying, you're not talking about my body and you're not controlling me or my life choices. I'm voting for the person who's going to make sure that I still have a choice. Plain and simple. It. And that's why Republicans are trying so hard to not talk about abortion anymore, because they understand they fucked up.
Speaking of abortion, can we talk about Ron DeSantis' campaign after that debate last night?
You want to call them tiny boots? What do you want to call them?
Tiny boots, tiny hands, puss in boots. Puss in boots.
Puss in boots. Puss in boots it is. Puss in boots it is. Because he, man, it's almost like the fucking bully at your school. He literally got side-checked by, like within the year. And it's like he's been deflated. It's like, who the fuck is this guy anymore? He got popped by a mouse.
But more importantly, can we also talk about the fact that Hannity was not nonpartisan in that whole thing? He was
You expected him to be?
I didn't. But apparently Newsom's team, who had cleared it with Fox News, saying that he would be, more impartial and fair. Apparently,
look at Hannity's resume. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
I didn't. Let me know. But I will give Newsom a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit. He showed up.
Oh, absolutely.
Puss in Boots has never gone to anywhere with a Democrat. He's never gone anywhere that's not in his
face
circle.
When he's hitting him with those jabs. Like, it's hurting because he's grinding his teeth trying to smile. It's like,
motherfucker can't even smile. What does that mean?
He's like, this dude is killing me.
Yo, man.
Yeah, it
Puss in Boots. I'm sorry, that shit is priceless.
Yeah,
that shit is priceless.
We're gonna cut that and put that all over social media.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, on to a little more serious stuff though. Little sad news today. We seem to have sad news like the last 3 shows. But Sandra Day O'Connor passed away at 93. Mm-hmm. I just love this photo of Obama giving her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's one of my favorite photos of her. But she lived a long, long life. I think at this point we just celebrate her for, the trailblazer that she was and the influence that she'll likely have on generations to come.
First Supreme Court Justice, first female Supreme Court Justice. That's amazing.
Her legacy will influence young ladies for decades to come. And, she'll be missed.
It's a different court back then.
But you know who won't be missed? George freaking Santos. They finally booted this mother.
I think it was the OnlyFans account.
Do you? Do you think it was?
That's what did it.
I think it was the Botox. I think it was the. Actually, Botox. I think most of them were pissed off at the Hermes purchases that he had.
Well, I wanted to ask it. Was it that he was taking money also from a fellow colleague?
That part I don't know.
I think that I overheard that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
In the comments.
Some of the viewers, please put in the comments, please. Was he taking funds, as in like a colleague also contributed to his fund, and then he started reaping rewards from him, as in
that sounds like something that would happen in that scenario,
It's quite interesting to see how deep this rabbit hole goes with him, but complete shyster. My man is. Did you see him on the floor trying to shake hands and get out of there?
Oh, dude, the video of him trying to bounce. Like, first off, you shouldn't even showed up today. I give the dude, like, you have to be completely like.
No, he's a narcissist.
Oh, no. I wasn't gonna give. Like, you have to. That's what I was about to say. You have to be completely unaware. Like, your self-awareness is at 0, and there's something wrong with you that you actually like. Any rational fucking person. I'm sorry. Any rational person would have said, "Okay, this is done. I'm gonna resign, and I'm gonna go, tuck my tail and go back to wherever it is."
Oh man. He thought he still had it.
He really did. Like, when I watched him go up yesterday, he dropped those papers to expel. Damn it!
Jamal.
Thank you,
Jamal. Yep.
Are you
for fire
for that?
Yeah, that he pled guilty to.
Yeah, it's a misdemeanor. It's a fucking misdemeanor.
Yeah. Well, law is law. but that was the January 6th. Of the Democratic Party.
Is there something saying that they can get expelled for a misdemeanor?
First off, no. There's nothing about anything.
It's up to.
It's just all made up.
It's all up to the voting members, right?
It's all up to the voting members, and the biggest debate about Santos was this is the first time that any congressman has been expelled without being convicted.
Yes.
So there's been like convictions, and then they've had to expel the person.
Okay.
He's the 6th one to be expelled.
Yes, and 5 of them. No. 3 of them were during the Civil War. Yep.
Right, but the reality of it for this is, they were found guilty of a crime where he has not even been found yet. So what the debate was should we lower that threshold now of holding each other accountable? And the answer is
absolutely.
Yes. That is the answer.
And what I want to add is
do better, America.
Exactly. This man never should have been allowed to be sworn in the first place. If the Republican Party and Kevin McCarthy had a fucking brain or anything or some courage, they would have been like, all right, dude, you clearly have some stuff going on with you. And that brings me to my next subject. When I was a federal contractor in the military, I had a security clearance because of the job that I did. And I worked on freaking airplanes. These people are legislating for the entire freaking country, and they do not have to pass anything near what I had to pass. We need to change that. If you are going to be legislating for this country, you damn sure should be able to pass the same background check that the people that are in the military have to pass and the people that are federal contractors have to pass. That should at least be the bar. If you cannot pass that, you have no fucking business being in Congress.
It's just one of those things where, we're not sending our best.
And so Kalen says he stole from the RNC by falsifying records and numbers because the RNC wouldn't donate unless he met a certain threshold. And he didn't, but they faked it, so the RNC donated the money to him. There you go. Yeah, that's a big no-no.
It's just a great circle jerk is all that Santos is. It's literally him with the party. And the question is, if they had a higher majority, say they had 40 seats, say that red wave, showed up instead of that little
would they have booted him out?
Tiny baby spit that was there. The question woulda, shoulda, coulda, but the reality is that you got to look at the people in Queens who voted this motherfucker in. You got to look at what they really believed in. I mean, the bullshit lies that he told. I mean, they hated him the moment that everything came out.
Yeah.
The moment that was within literally the first month of him being in office, they all had buyer's guilt. And they were like, wait a minute, your mother wasn't in 9/11? You didn't play volleyball? You didn't? It's like everything just started unraveling. And you're like, how did you guys not catch this at the beginning, though?
No background. Yeah, no kind of background.
But on a local level.
And that's the other thing, too. Somebody said, oh, well, the local Democratic parties are responsible for vetting. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, no, you do not leave it up to the local parties. No. Absolutely not.
It's the local media that we have to really focus
on.
And
absolutely.
The fact that you have mainstream media buying up all these other, conglomerates. And now that they're too big to look at these smaller races, this is the part where it shows you your local paper really does matter.
And even things like this.
And that's who you need to support.
Even things like, of course, your local media is going to be, probably much more reliable, but also, podcasts and stuff, the people that you want to follow, you find those podcasts of people that do their research and put that out there to kind of educate you or educate us. Those are the podcasts worth following to me. The ones that it's like, do they get one wrong every once in a while? Sure. Everybody does this, but most of the time it's like you feel confident knowing that they do their research. The information they're presenting you is good, so I think that's going to become an even bigger, it's going to be like the local media soon. Everybody going out and doing their thing.
Well, especially with all this misinformation that's coming out. And the fact that this will be the first presidential election where we see a actual infestation of misinformation.
It's already started.
Be quite interesting.
It's already started.
But we're talking about the very first presidential election where you're going to start seeing deep fakes, more AI. This is going to be the first one. And this is where you're going to have to be very, you can't be your mom on Facebook. You got to really put in the work. You got to take 5 extra seconds and go look everything up and find cross references. You got to put in that work.
I've even gotten my finger caught in that, a couple times recently, and it's been I've stopped sharing the Trump Truth Social posts because what people would do is they would just take the header and change all the words. But the issue is that dude's so freaking crazy that even when people were trying to, make it so far out there that you would think it's fake, everybody's reading it and they think it's real. So I don't even share them anymore because I don't have the stomach to go to Truth Social and verify it on my own and make an account. So I'm like, I'm just not going to share it. And
I don't have the capacity to take all that in.
The people that do it,
I don't.
God bless you. I don't know how you do it, but we thank you for taking one for the team.
You don't have kids. I'm going to be a betting person right there. You literally are home with cats.
Oh, come on.
Let's see if I upset anybody right now.
You probably just did. But speaking of upsetting people, so did you hear what went down with Dave Chappelle at all?
I saw a little bit of a clip. I saw your posting, and I just thought, okay, what's going on?
So Lauren Boebert Paulina, whatever her name is, Luna, they were apparently talking to Dave Chappelle somewhere in the Capitol and snapped this photo, and she used it to trash the transgender community. So
now she's not. This is not quoting anything. This is just her tag.
That's just her. Yep, that's just her. Whatever she added to it.
Because I saw you posted, and I saw that you had some commentary. Also,
I was like, damn, that's disappointing, And then that.
So she got the shock value out of you.
I think she got shock value out of a lot of people. But the issue is when you do a show and 70% of the stand-up show is about transgender and you call yourself a TERF and all this shit, when you see something like that, it's not far-fetched, right? So that being said, like you said, context matters, the truth matters. I was like, all right, let me go see if anybody's got the video or anything of what really happened. And this is the only video I could find. So, of course, we don't know what the conversation is, but it sounds like it was just a quick, hey, you're great. Yeah, thank you. That kind of thing. But this is the video that we found.
I'll see you. I'll be well. May we get a selfie? Okay. I know you're trying to leave. All right. Thank you.
So that was... right.
One thing I will say about Dave is Dave mingles with the people.
He does.
Plain and simple.
He does.
You may not like what he has to say. I followed Dave's career since the beginning of time. I think he's a very astute intellect. It would be considered like the Dick Gregory of our time. And if you don't know who Dick Gregory is, look him up. It's not likable sometimes. There's things that are going to be there that you're just not going to like. One thing that you wrote that I really thought about was where you were just like, he should know better. And I just thought to myself, like, Dave will fuck with anybody.
Well, but
and that's not to say in the context of like, oh, this person is going to manipulate me. What I'm interested is what will he or his camp do with this now that it's out? And that's where time is,
and
not
Dave doesn't usually let shit like that slide. He doesn't like being misrepresented, right? My disappointment, and if you read to the end of what I said that's probably why I'm not famous though, because I wouldn't be able to take pictures with people like that. Like if Lauren Boebert was coming up to me like, can I take a picture? Fuck you, bitch. Get away from me.
But you see how it's been weaponized.
And to be fair, Dave was being filmed. He knew he was being filmed. And had he reacted like that to her, it would have made a lot of liberals and Democrats be like, yay, but it would have pissed off the entire right wing. So it's like, yeah, I understand that. And watching the video, it's like, okay, that was like him being nice. They asked for a photo, even looking at...
And I wouldn't be surprised if Boebert even really fucking knows his sketch, like his actual like stage performance and the fact of like what he does talk about with trans. I wouldn't be surprised if she just got cliff notes about whatever, or if she got little segments sent to her about Dave Chappelle and how he talks about trans. And you know how everybody splices their shit. Because it's one of those things where it's like, if it was just a snippet, just a clip of something without the actual punchline of the joke, she might be like, yeah, he's with us.
Well, and
you know what I mean?
When the whole thing went down with that special, what was it? The closer one, I think it was.
Yeah.
So when that all went down, I went and watched it because, like you, I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan because I think he reminds me a lot of George Carlin with the way that he delivers his jokes, with the content of his jokes. There's always a social justice, political connotation.
It's just smart.
He's just a really smart guy with the way he does storytelling and the way he delivers his jokes. So I really appreciate all that stuff. And I find a lot of his stuff funny. I wanted to go see, because I've tried to educate myself on the trans community, make some friends and be better. And so I wanted to see what the hoopla was about. And it was really interesting because, of course there are parts that were cringy as shit, like the TERF part and stuff like that. But if you get past that and you get to the end of the show and you get to the final message, it was the final couple sentences to me that really stuck out. And it was, or about that segment. I don't remember if it was the last part of the show, but he talked about going to the funeral of his transgender friend. and talking to his kid, and he said, I knew your dad, and she was a hell of a woman. And I thought that tied everything together of him trying to say, I had this amazing friend. She opened my eyes, and we ended up being really cool, despite all the bullshit. That was how I took it. Because to me, he was speaking to me during that show. Because if you don't understand the community, if you don't understand the mental health aspect of it, if you don't understand the medical aspect of it all, yeah, it's easy to be ignorant and just say stupid shit or agree with certain things. And whether anybody liked it or not, the one positive thing that came out of that was that we started having these conversations right here.
Which I was going to say. It's almost like he's having that dialogue of like being in a safe space to learn, a teachable moment. And he's honest with himself about like, I don't know this world, but this was my
this is how I feel.
Up to
this is how I felt.
And this is what got me to this point. This is how it started. And here's all the joke. Here's the cringe. And then here is where the release takes place. I think it's quite
enlightenment. At the end, it felt like enlightenment.
It was definitely a light at the end of the tunnel for that. For him and for the
I like what you said about Lauren Boebert only getting clips, because I think there was a lot of outrage that was created by
100%.
it being taken a little out of
just headlines
and just headlines, you take a 1 minute or 2 minute clip out of that. Oh yeah, it's gonna piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And it will make people think there's an ally.
Absolutely.
There, he's with us. We think this. And at the same time, he might be like, you know what? I do think that, but it's like, it's none of my fucking business. He's
probably going to take pictures with them the same way he took pictures with Lauren Boebert. And if that's how he is, I can get down with that.
It is what it is,
So moving on from there to the next group of people I pissed off.
On my shit list, let's continue down the road.
So Jimmy Carter's wife passed away. First Lady Carter.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Again, very long life, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up her advocacy for mental health. For me, that will be one thing that, she,
for America, she really was the first.
She was the first to come out and just be like, you know what, this is what it is. And
we still can't deal with
the stigma is still there, but without her, it would be even worse than it is today.
Right.
And so I'll be very thankful for that. So anyway, so her funeral was, I believe, last week. And I saw what she wore.
Somebody made it a fashion show?
Okay. Because I want to be fair here.
Who is that old woman in the back with the green sweater vest?
But she's got a black dress on underneath it. Okay. So
don't take me
please take, because there's a black lady in the upper right hand corner with a gray, but it's got black all around the thing. So, but anyway,
but she's not a first lady.
Thank you. So you look at Melania here. You look at all the other first ladies, the presidents. What are they wearing? What are all the people in the back wearing?
Why does Hillary Clinton look like Bruce Lee? The hell is she rocking? Who is her woman?
Bro, you did not just say that.
She looked like The Mask, man. Look at her. Look at her looking like she is a butler that knows kung fu. I'm sorry. Hillary, girl, we need to help you.
She's 80 years old. Give her a break, man.
Okay, you know what? So is our president, but I'm just saying, like, he looks clean.
I mean,
come on.
Looks like he's in better shape than I am.
Bush looks clean. Michelle is everything.
Yeah, Michelle.
Stop it. Michelle looked like she just came out of the Janet Jackson video.
Yeah.
Rhythm Nation boy. She looking clean.
Yeah. So
Melania, I don't know about Melania. I'm just glad Melania was allowed out. She's a hostage. I'm just glad they let her out.
Well, apparently First Lady Carter specifically invited her and wanted her to feel welcomed, to the funeral. So which I didn't know at the time I posted it. Like I said, I'm going to be completely fair here. But I posted that along with a couple other photos. And I basically was like, next time there's a funeral, just don't come. Like, if you're not going to wear black like everybody else and, you just have to stick out, just fucking stay home.
Don't we all have that one aunt?
Always
in the family, though?
the ones that were, and
You know
I
what I'm
literally
saying?
said that out because the people that started responding, I'm like, she could wear white to a wedding, and you guys would defend her, right? Now, that being said, turns out I think she had a black dress on underneath the coat. So
Okay.
it was a coat that she had on. She left it on. You know, it's freaking cold in wherever. I think they were in DC for that. So yeah, it is what it is.
Please keep in mind that the last funeral she went to was the ex-wife of Trump being buried on a golf course. I don't think she really knows.
She had, and that was my thing, and I said that I said that in the tweet. I said that in the tweet. I'm like, look,
there's not much class.
I'm like,
coming from
you
these
should
people,
know
man.
funeral, etiquette.
Etiquette,
And
like,
if you don't, I said
know.
you have stylists that fucking do. Okay. And at the very end, and I think this is what I said that really upset everybody.
You hire who you like. Let's be serious. It's all I'm saying.
But in the end, this is what I said that I think set it all into motion. I said, I wish we could send you back to Slovenia or whatever it was, which Yugoslavia, which is not a country anymore. And where I fucked up there was I went to Google her, and that was the first country I saw on the thing. So I wasn't thinking about geography and shit.
Ryan.
I fucked up.
You are that meme. You're that meme. You're just sharing that shit. Just sharing that
at least
shit.
I tried to go find the right information. They don't even fucking attempt to Google.
True.
At least give me that.
True. I mean, you were just in a rush.
I was in a rush.
It's my biggest argument. It's my biggest argument about social media. Everybody's in a rush to put out.
Oh, dude.
And no one's taking that extra 5 seconds just to cross-reference their
every time I get dragged on social media for posting something wrong, it's because I didn't take the time to go research it. Every fucking time. Because I think one time it wasn't my fault. Like, it was just bad information. But every other
someone put your name in a chat. That was thinking about.
No, but I just mean, sometimes
past episode.
But sometimes people put out information and it's just wrong, and everybody thinks it's right. And then find out later, and it's like, well, everybody was wrong though, so you can't get mad at one social media creator or whatever. We all said it. But yeah, that's I upset.
So she got the personal invite. You pissed off you kicked the hive.
I kicked the hive. And I kicked the hive days prior, so I think the fact that they were already swarming just intensified it.
Okay.
We got doxxed. I got a couple good death threats. I think
So you double tapped? You did a John Wick over the weekend? You double tapped the Republican Party?
The first one was with Kyle Rittenhouse. And
who?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, no, because I want to talk about this. Give me a second. So we're going to go into me pissing off the right wing. And so first, this was probably my favorite thing that happened out of this whole thing. So you remember we talked about Sarah Gonzalez in the video I didn't have last week? So, so this Texas school board member puts this out on Twitter and asks, who is more attractive, Sarah Gonzalez or Ryan Shead? She's got a t-shirt on that says, real women aren't men. She got ratioed to hell. They all voted for me. They're like, the ugly bitch on the left. No, I'll take the dude on the right. And I was like, how fucked up is it that you got ratioed in a by a appearance contest by a bald motherfucker that looks like a thumb? Like,
yo, man, that look you give it right now.
In a hole somewhere, crying at the fact that dude put you out there like that, and the internet ratioed the fuck out of you, and you couldn't beat that ugly motherfucker on the right with the gap teeth. By the way, how you like my teeth now, bitch? How about you pick a photo that's a little more updated?
Yo, that's like her catfish photo.
Dude, that's like the worst. I was like, they did that. I'm like, that's the worst angle.
Her forehead is just as far back as both of ours. I'm just letting you know right now.
I'm just letting you know right peeled now. Back to here. She's got it pushed She's got.
Hey, David's telling on himself right now. My man might have a fetish.
Oh, dude,
for
some
balding
people.
men. I'm just telling
my
you.
favorite comments.
It's
My favorite
interesting.
comment somebody put in there. They put his photo and they said the last thing a little girl sees before the trunk closes. I was like, damn. I was like, excuse me, 911. I'd like to report a murder.
You know what I'm saying? You need to get that poll, and you need to send that back and say thank you so much for polling, for doing your job. Thank you
amazing.
so much.
Now, granted, I got ratioed to shit on the Melania thing. I got, oh my god, did I get?
So it started with her. It started with SG. Then it went to Riddle House, and then it ended with Melania.
I don't remember where Sarah.
Is that the Trinity?
Where Sarah Oh no, I got into it with Sarah Gonzalez over Rep. Jasmine Crockett. I was standing up for her.
Yes.
So that was how I got into it with Sarah Gonzalez.
Yep.
But
so that was weeks
ago. But because she was been paying attention, she saw me go at Kyle Rittenhouse. So then her and Kyle Rittenhouse start going at, talking shit about me in the comment section. And I jump in and it gets interesting. So then I pissed off all the Kyle Rittenhouse stands. And then a couple days ago, I pissed everybody off with Melania to the point where I got doxxed, death threats, email. My email box was getting blown up. It was insane. I was like, do you guys see how upset you are about a fucking immigrant with a questionable visa? And you're comparing her against extremely educated American females. And you're trying to make Melania sound like she's somehow superior to them? Are you fucking insane? Hillary Clinton is extremely educated. Michelle Obama is extremely educated. They're both authors.
How about the doctor?
Dr. Jill
Biden. Extremely educated.
Now you want to compare her to fucking them three to Melania?
I mean, we already know what the test is, man. We already know that it's a very low bar.
But it's just like, how are you going to defend this woman that can barely speak English? You all talk about immigrants taking American jobs. No, fuck that.
Taking American jobs?
Yeah, exactly. You all want to talk about immigrants coming and taking jobs. Bitch, she came in and took the first lady job. And she could barely speak English.
She didn't sign up for that.
No,
shit.
She
got dragged.
There is a part of me that felt bad for her because you could tell that she did not want to be first lady. She did not want to do those speaking engagements. I mean, could you imagine being in another?
That's my shit
again,
right there, man.
I try to be fair. Could you imagine being in another country with a language that is your second language, maybe third at best, and you're being put in a position to be the figurehead of the whole country? You know what I'm saying?
What I will say is that you can't knock Melania like she's not smart. She probably is extremely intelligent. When I say that is this. Like most immigrants, they are extremely intelligent. If you're going to be bilingual,
oh, absolutely. I can't speak multiple languages.
That's a straight up American Homer Simpson style. And it's one of those things where I will give her that. It's just one of those where, reading a room, another aspect about being narcissistic or being more so focused on just on her looks versus on like taking care of people. Was she the right candidate for the job of being first lady and actually what the role of first lady was? No, but she didn't ask for it. She didn't sign up for this shit. You know what I mean? When you look at her and Trump on election day, when they won the original election, and I say they won the original election. They did. The Electoral College picked them.
But I still like reminding everybody that 2.8 million more Americans voted for Hillary Clinton.
The popular vote picked
And by the way, can I just say that the Electoral College is bullshit now and completely not needed? There's no reason. Everybody's districts are being represented by your senators and your members of Congress, your representatives. That is your representation at the Capitol. There is no reason at this point in time, with all the technology and everything else, that the vote for president of the United States should not be a straight up and down popular vote who represents all Americans, period.
One vote, one
Absolutely,
count.
Period.
Simple.
Because the Electoral College is too flawed. We've learned that because when you have somebody with the Electoral College vote for your state go in and vote opposite of what the voters of the state did, and it's completely legal, that's done. No.
Well, it's interesting about it is because Electoral College, in theory, is supposed to stop something like Trump from becoming in power. And it's interesting how they hijacked it for this second round. Because the first round, okay, it was what it was. But for the second round, it's interesting to see how it was then hijacked or attempted to, which I like what's happening in Arizona. You guys are now putting a little bit of pressure on some folks who didn't want to certify.
Oh, bro, thank you for bringing that up. I want to talk about that. But real quick, I just want to talk what Kaylin said, because I actually feel this way. Kaylin said, referencing Melania, not after January 6th, she was asked if she wanted to issue a statement from her office to be peaceful, and she said no. And that's another one of my issues with her, you know, and her best friend coming out and some of the stories that she said, is, you know, it's just like you said.
I mean, I don't think she's innocent, but
she's definitely not innocent. But again,
nobody in that family is.
I don't. Did I say she was stupid? I said she wasn't as educated as the other three.
You didn't. No.
I just didn't know if I said she was stupid. If I did, I didn't mean to say she was stupid. But if you're talking about education, you can't discredit those other three women when comparing them to Melania Trump, because they are extremely educated and accomplished women.
It's very rich to look at what her campaign was, because every first lady kind of has their thing, like you said. With Carter, it was with mental health.
Melania was Be Best,
dealing with Be Best, which was online bullying,
and Michelle was.
But look at who. But just look at who does all the online.
Yeah, that was.
So again, the projection is so.
And they use that too. They're like, well, what about the first lady's Be Best campaign? I'm like, why her husband was simultaneously bullying the entire freaking country. Like it's
and continues, and now is bullying justice again.
She plagiarized. I remember that she did plagiarize parts of Michelle Obama's speech. And what was Michelle's? I think it was kids' lunches or nutrition.
Hers was health.
Nutrition, health.
Nutrition. Yep.
Which you know that's I like that one.
It's major because obesity is a motherfucker.
Especially right now.
With this next generation.
Shit, my kids sit around more than we did when we were kids. All right. So, the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. I just want to touch on this before, and then we'll move on. So, I really pissed off, and Kyle Rittenhouse ended up responding to me a couple of times, which kind of blew my mind a little bit.
It was a couple times. It was a couple times.
He was in the comment sections for a good day, but it was funny because the whole reason I commented was because he released a book and he titled it "Acquitted," and it's like it just, you know. I'm like, look, bitch, we all, like, OJ was acquitted too. We all knew that motherfucker did it.
Yeah. Not OJ.
You know, and so I started posting things that were not allowed in the court case, and people were really responding to it because I was just asking questions. I was like, hey, why did you give your stimulus money that you got from Donald Trump to your friend to go purchase a rifle because you weren't old enough, and then keep it at his house, and he left it in his name?
Let me course correct you, though. Donald Trump ain't give nobody no fucking stimulus money.
Well,
okay?
He got it under
the
Trump.
Government gave. He
got it under Trump.
Okay, I will accept that. But the way you say that, it is not Trump handing out money. It's not even like that. The government passed out money, and it
why you got to fucking correct me? It was good the way I said it.
No, man, fuck Trump, because when I start going to the hood and
all right, no,
go, man, Donald Trump
you got me signed off there. That makes sense. Okay.
I can't.
You got me there.
People.
As soon as you said that, I was like, no, that's a good point. But he got the money during Trump's presidency, and he.
Real quick to add to that, checks were delayed because he wanted to have his actual signature on it.
I remember that.
So it took longer for checks to come out because they did this little stunt at first, and they said, "Fuck all that noise. We got to get these checks out."
I remember that.
Yes. So just a quick fact: delayed. Because of that narcissism. So, please continue.
The rough outline is they ended up throwing the gun charge out against Rittenhouse, and they didn't let some other things in that kind of led up to that. I think make the context of intent more important. And so this first video was him about a week before the shooting, talking to a friend, and this is what he says.
It looks like one of them has a weapon. She hung up. Bro, I wish I had my AR. I'd start shooting rounds at
them. He literally says, I wish I had my AR. I would start shooting rounds at them.
Damn.
So
how that's not evident, but this just shows you like how fucked up the system is when you're like we have so much more documented in somebody's life, period. And the fact that that is his resume up until that point, like this is who you are, this is what you brought to the table to society. The fact that you are 17, 16, 17? 17, and you literally cross state lines to be somewhere to play cop.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And then you killed people. Like you are
a murderer. He ended up being a vigilante. He ended up being a vigilante. So
the talking points and all the bullshit out the window. Nobody knows anybody's resume at that scene of the crime.
Their criminal history, and that's the other thing. You're talking about people. Do you want to know why you guys all know about their criminal past? Because they went through the system. So if they've gone through the system, who are we to deal out more punishment? What you're doing is you're using their criminal history to justify their murder after the fact, and that makes you a disgusting person. Okay, I'm not co-signing what any of those people did. I'm not. But sitting there and using it to justify what that kid did that night is wrong. Period. So here's another video I have that, again, I think just shows the type of person this kid is. They're trying to lift him up like he's some, just some clean-cut kid who did what he had to do. No, fuck that. This is this kid.
Yeah. Oh, what? No. He punching a bitch. He punching a bitch. They gonna come take us first. No Captain Save-A-Hole. Oh, me, she already smacked her.
And she said, "We'll call the police." Yeah, punch that bitch. She gonna call the police. Ooh, move, car, move.
Oh, yeah? Oh, what? No. He punching a bitch.
Ooh, move, car, move.
Oh, yeah? Oh, what?
So that's Kyle punching a girl. Okay. All right.
I mean, I remember when we were in high school. What do you think would have happened if one of us would have started hauling off at a girl in our high school?
You don't put your hands on it. No.
I can 10 guys that would have come up and whipped our ass. You know what I mean?
No. But that's the thing that I question certain individuals. Yeah. Plain and simple. Like you said, like if you saw it, even then, if you saw it, you would have intervened. The fact that someone could just sit there and just film that tells me a lot about just what that little culture is in that region.
Yeah, that shit.
But did you see Kyle in the hot seat with Pierce Morgan?
Yeah.
Asking about just as a humanity, like the humanity in what happened,
he has not,
how you feel. Yeah. He lacks empathy.
He doesn't
lacks empathy, and it's tragic because he has the rest of his life, and honestly, he ain't gonna be shit because he's gonna have this deep down eating him like cancer.
Well, not only that,
and it's gonna spread to.
He went to go enlist in the military. They turned him away. He's applied to several colleges. They've all turned him away. Like, the only job this kid...
You know where he might get a job is in Congress. He might get a job.
He's already talking about it. He's posting about it online. That's what they're lining this kid up for. He's going to be the NRA 2A fucking candidate, and they'll vote this little motherfucker in because too many people didn't see these videos and don't understand that he literally took stimulus money and bought a fucking AR-15 through a straw man purchase and then took it and killed people.
Which to me, isn't that breaking the law about purchasing a gun or having a gun at underage?
So the way I read the law is that you have to be 18 years old, and if you are under 18, you could have the rifle, but you couldn't open carry it, and the only way you could have it is if you were shooting and you were with an adult.
So bringing a gun to a riot, it checks all the boxes?
Apparently, in that case, it did.
There it is.
So...
There it is.
Yeah, I don't know how they interpreted that to go there, but
Kyle Rittenhouse literally was one bullet away from being a school shooter. That's the only way.
Well, he was one death away.
No,
3.
No, just in general. One of those videos of him, swinging on a girl versus him talking about wanting to shoot. He was just one bad day away.
Yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Yep. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's all it was.
No, you're absolutely right.
He's in the same bracket as I put any of those. For some reason, gun nuts. That the evaluation of who he is as a person. Like I said, he's gonna have to live with this for the rest of his life. I can't imagine anybody bringing him home and it'd be one of those situations where it's clearly going to be a Republican family that he's going to be shacking up with or whatever the case is. I don't know what his personal life is, but there's no proud moment. You're not going to meet him dating your daughter and be like, oh, you're a fine, upstanding citizen. Like it's not going to be the case, so we'll see what, we'll see what comes out of it. But I think he lost all his real freedom, to be honest with you.
So on to another weirdo. So Elon took the world.
Oh,
you like that transition?
So
yes. Elon took the stage, and if you haven't been following, like some of us weirdos, he purchased Twitter for $44 billion, changed the name, completely scrapped the brand, and now he has a choice word for advertisers that are leaving because of his anti-Semitic comments, on top of the things that he's allowing to be posted on his platform. So this is what he had to say for those folks.
Don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself. But go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
So that Bob that he's talking about is Bob Iger from Disney.
Yeah,
and it's quite interesting because Bob was not there. Bob was there for the first, for VP Harris. And then he left, after that. He didn't even care to stick around to see what Elon had to say. So him saying that, it was really to
Did he not learn what DeSantis just did?
Here's the thing. You talk about Puss in Boots. The thing that I find really interesting is
that's going to stick.
That Elon Musk, I feel like this is where we give too much credit to people who come from money.
Yes.
As in, like, he's a genius about anything.
Just has some money.
And I don't think we really question, as a society, we're not questioning, because he didn't pull himself up by the bootstraps. No. So when you look at this and you look at how pompous he really is, and you look at how you have to look at X in general, that's his network. Is he trying to run it into the ground because he's so tied up with the banks? Remember, he didn't buy it with his own money. He bought it with banks
and Saudi's money.
And Saudi money. And it's interesting because he also has the power to turn it on and off for other individuals.
And I also think that he's funneling money into groups that he wants to through the, I wanted to call it creator fund, but it's the profit sharing. Like that cat turd motherfucker, he sent that dude millions of dollars through there.
So it's interesting to me because you look at who's being propped up by who and what's going on and all those other things. He is really an enigma in a sense of like failing upwards because he has all the right people doing, like, he's not the one creating the rockets for SpaceX. He didn't create Tesla. He literally got in and then he literally pressured the creators of Tesla out. So it's not one of those things where he is the mastermind.
No, he's the bad guy in the TV shows and the movies that comes in and buys the company and ousts the people that actually created it.
It's like, have you seen that movie with the McDonald's movie with Michael Keaton?
Yep.
It really comes down to that element of like seeing the person who comes in with an idea, who just can see what's around the corner, but they're not the real creator of anything. So his gift is to see around the corner. But I've always saw him as Rain Man. He's on the cusp, whatever. I know he's on the spectrum. So I know he thinks very differently, but at the same time, it's like he's not good for himself as his own PR guy.
No.
So it's quite interesting to see him. And maybe this is where we start seeing that turn of how the world looks at him. But maybe he's tanking X on purpose as a write-off, to be honest with
whether he went into damage control and went over to Israel to see Netanyahu and walk around.
Supposedly that was planned before his anti-Semitic
Interesting.
Tweet. But I do like his Winnie the Pooh or Donald Duck ass vest there.
I'm like, they couldn't find this dude a kit that fit.
they wanted him to get
the
shot
dude over
in
on the
they
left,
wanted him to
he's
get
like
shot.
6'6". So I mean, I give him a pass, but Elon ain't that tall. Like y'all couldn't help him out. You ain't supposed to be able to see the belly button with the vest on.
No. My man giving you a belly show right there, man. That's
so
classic. Yeah, but it's
my thing is here's the issue I have with it. He's up there crying, saying that he's being blackmailed. You're not being blackmailed, you dumb fuck. You're being
freedom of
it's
speech.
called freedom of speech, that capitalism you like to keep fucking, pounding us over the head with. Guess what? You told everybody to go fuck themselves, and Walmart and Apple and Disney and all them people, they came out and decided to go fuck themselves. And now you're fucked.
Deuces. Yeah.
Congratulations, dude. You spent $44 billion, Elon Musk, on a company, and within 6 months said, fuck the name, fuck everything that they've built in it. I'm going to destroy it and put in whatever. And your memes don't work, your gifts don't, or the gifts don't work, all sorts of shit. Like, you actually have people paying for this piece of turd, and it runs worse now than when it was a publicly owned company. Like, you talk about being a genius businessman, you have destroyed this fucking business. Just like you are destroying Tesla. That Cybertruck is so fucking ugly. Like, those Rivian trucks are going to blow them out of the water.
They're beautiful, Well, just wait. Lucid's coming with its own SUV.
Like,
it's coming.
Okay,
it's all coming. Everybody's coming to eat his lunch.
They're going to destroy him.
It's only a matter
of time. But here's my thing. That Cybertruck, Tesla is a public-owned company. How the fuck did they approve that? That is a truck designed by somebody on the spectrum.
He owns the shit. He owns the shit. And,
the 51%?
Right. So he gets final say. But at the same time, there's a niche that wants it. But it's also like how
there's a niche
that wants to drive the Hummer.
That licks his ball sack so much that they'll go spend $80,000 on that truck. They don't like how it looks. Nobody likes how that fucking thing looks. It looks like somebody took a brick, cut the fucking corners off, said, here's some wheels, stuck it on there, and said, Matchbox car.
Can I just see you do this? Can I just see you do this more?
I don't know what it looked like.
It looked like someone with some melted Legos definitely fucking around. Like, that's definitely where we're at right here. But, that's Elon's bullshit. We'll see when the numbers come in, but we already know that everybody's coming for their lunch. The Hummer, the newest EV Hummer is fucking gorgeous. Cadillac's coming for the
Ford
EV
truck.
game. You know what I mean? Ford truck, the Lightning is gorgeous.
I like those.
Everybody's coming for their lunch, but Rivian for sure, being a startup, is definitely.
I like those trucks. We've seen a couple of them here around Tucson. They're sharp looking. They're sharp. Yeah. At first, I was like, "What is that?" And then the more,
but they're powerful.
And that's awesome too. But I'm just like, the more I see them, I'm like, that actually that's growing on me. I actually like how that looks.
Yeah.
You don't
look like you're on drive on Pluto.
I'm never going to take the moon rover, the Tesla moon rover, anywhere. You know what I mean?
Hey, but I do love how embedded him and Puss in Boots are, where they're not trying to knock each other for all their dumbass shit as they're both failing downward. Like, they're really flopping. They're really flopping together.
Yeah.
They're like Thelma and Louise. They are driving that fucking car off the fucking cliff together, and let them go. Let them just do their thing.
So we're gonna try to we're at about an hour. We're gonna get there. All right. So I want to talk real quick about the Hunter Biden subpoena.
Yes.
So if you have not
cards on, bro.
If you dude, he hang on a second. He threw that big old hog down on the table, didn't he? He walked in and said, "I'm sorry, what did you say?"
Lindsey Graham grabbed his pearls. Okay, I'm telling you right now. All right. Oh, Lord. It is quite interesting to see how this played out.
So, if you haven't heard, the House subpoenaed Hunter Biden, and he said, "I'll gladly show up and testify if you make it public." And what do you think that these Republicans, who have been saying for almost a year, a couple years now, that the Biden family is the most prolific criminal family that has ever sat in the White House, and Hunter Biden is funneling money to the big guy, and all this shit. You guys have been talking about this for years. Now you've got
Sleepy Joe,
what you
head
want.
Of the crime family.
You've got what you want. He's gonna sit there under oath in front of Congress and the cameras and let you ask him anything. And you coward motherfuckers who know what you're doing, you said, "Oh, wait a minute. No, we can't
We
we
can't
can't
have
do
that on the
that.
mic. We
We
can't
can't do
have
that
that.
because then we can't twist it and project what we want. And they know damn well that if they sit by a Hunter Biden down in front of the country and get egg thrown on their face, they're done. They're done.
Well, they don't want to have another one of those Hillary Clinton moments where it's just this.
You guys done?
Because that is all you ever see. That is all cool.
11 hours, by the way.
Going
11 hours that woman sat there.
Unfazed. That woman is better than most.
So
she was the best thing that happened to DC.
If you really, if you didn't already know what the agenda was for this Hunter Biden investigation and everything that they're doing, it has nothing to do with actually finding out what happened. It has nothing to do with right versus wrong. They really don't have anything, and they know it, and they were trying to get Hunter Biden behind closed doors so they could keep this going even further into the 2024 election. And Hunter Biden and the Biden family just made them look like straight up fools.
Yeah.
So with that, I also want to just say, what did you think about the release of the January 6th tapes? The 40,000 hours that they released.
I hope conservatives are having a great time going through all that information, because all you need to know is the first hour.
I mean, well,
them attacking the Capitol is exactly what got them in there. We already know that it was a lot of off-duty officers who showed up from other states. We know that there was some there were a couple of officers who stood behind Trump that worked for Congress. We also know that they did not have enough manpower to actually handle a crowd of that size, and they knew that they were told to stand down. So if you're told by your superiors to stand down, why would you be sitting there like Rambo or Kyle Rittenhouse?
Well, not even
it's just one of those things.
And I don't even think it's being told. I think any officer that's been trained in that situation knows, they know when they're outnumbered.
I'm outflanked. You're outflanked.
And the best move is to back up, get into an area where you might have a chance, find some of your other officers.
But also, it was a lot of white folks. We know if it was black there, it would have been a different situation. I'm sorry to say it.
Well, I mean, look how they treated the black officer that shot Ashley Babbitt. All of a sudden, the thin blue line people are fucking, up in arms saying he murdered her. I'm like, are you people insane? She was a veteran. She knew better. The minute she went into that glass window, it didn't matter if it was Ashley Babbitt or who it was. That man was going to pull the trigger at whoever was coming through that window. It just happened to be Ashley.
Right. And she died doing what she loved. So I'm not even worried about her. So it's one of those things where, and I lack empathy when you die doing something stupid.
Speaking
like
of
that.
people who are dying that I actually give a shit about, let's talk a little bit about Israel and Hamas going on. Let's end the show on that.
Such a nice note.
Jesus,
Friday night.
I know, but I think we've talked on the last couple of shows about how delicate, I'm not going to talk for you. I've been trying to be delicate with how I approach it, because I really do look at it from an innocence, standpoint. There's a lot of people that have nothing to do with this that are caught in the middle, and, innocent kids that are being murdered and kidnapped and, all sorts of other nasty shit. Those are the people that I am thinking about every single day, and hoping that, these ceasefires become permanent instead of lasting for a few days. And
that's what's so interesting about all this that you're saying right now, because we can really break it down to two things, two extreme governments, and one being Hamas and one being what is Bibi right now. The fact that in the New York Times, it just came out, and this is in today's paper, that Israel knew.
No, not that one.
No, this is different. But we can talk about
this one.
We'll touch on this in 1 second. It is this.
Okay.
Israel knew for a year of this imminent attack. And what's interesting is that this shows you that people at the top are still chauvinistic, because it was a woman who was reporting it in the ranks of their government, saying, this is what's happening. This is what they're training for. This is what they're going to plan
and
to
they ignored
do.
It.
And the higher ups ignored it. And they said, this is a wish list. They will never be able to do this. They can't do that to us. We are superior.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Very, very familiar. And the thing that is so troubling is that she tried numerous times to bring this to her higher ups to be passed along to the very top, which then around 4 days, the week of, Egypt said, hey, there is an attack that's coming your way. You need to be prepared. Now, that's the information side of things. The part that I find very interesting is that if you look at the landscape of what Israel is, where the attack took place versus where the armed forces were or however they were located, it should never have taken 8 hours to get to that location to engage an enemy, period. 8 hours. There were grandfathers in their trucks with a pistol showing up to defend and find their family and get there and just try to help however they could. So there's a lot of questions that you have to ask. So that's on Israel's side. Israel fucked up. That's where it is for October 7th. The thing that's not being talked about is the level of sexual assault and rape that took place from Hamas. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care about what freedom fighter. I don't care about your watermelons. None of that bullshit. They literally did the most horrific thing you could do to traumatize 13-year-old little girls, 12-year-olds, children. And then after they raped them, they would shoot them in the heads and try to literally just destroy this human being. It gives me complete understanding of why the IDF is fighting the way they are without any care for life because of what they witnessed, the monstrous acts of October 7th, which I keep saying is that Israel has not had a moment to actually heal from any of this. And
it seems like they went right. They went right in. They went right from that to we're going to war. Yeah,
that's it.
No, I hadn't even thought of that.
Horrific. How would you feel as a father to see someone do that to your daughter?
Any
and then
kid,
it's like you.
But yeah, my daughter. Blood. Yeah, I'd be.
But I'm saying, but they're fighting as if that is your daughter, and then you're fighting the person directly next to you. So that's where we are right now, looking at the psyche of something like this, which you can't. Being an outsider, especially here in America, we are like, no, but can we just find peace? I get all that, but you're talking about something that is so horrific that you witnessed. Even stories of little 13-year-old girls who've been raped where they have live grenades in their hand, the corpse. And you're like, wait a minute. And this is how they found them. And then they couldn't retrieve the body until they had to safely get the grenade out of their hands. So these booby traps and all this shit that actually is like unfolding on what they're talking about is insane. And then when you're talking about a ceasefire, and this is why I can tell most people to go fuck themselves because they don't know what's really going on right now, is Hamas just started to launch rockets during the ceasefire. So what kind of ceasefire are we looking at right now if you have someone who's constantly trying to poke the bear? I will give Hamas this credit. They are winning the social media game. And they have literally got the word out there. Israel's failing at trying to reach the youth, college, anybody who has social media. Israel's failing. They are not getting the message out there at all. I saw one of their commercials. The shit comes off like it's for grandma on fucking Facebook. It is not reaching people to actually understand what the horrific side of these things are. And I've talked to some of my friends who I sat there with during Black Lives Matter. And they're like, are you really standing behind Israel? And I go, no, I'm standing for actual peace. But to sit here and take Hamas talking points, like, how are you going to sit there and join your rapist? I can't be with you right now. I'm seeing some yoga friends talk about spread your legs for fucking Hamas because they're over here doing yoga poses and shit, talking about I'm here to break apart the apartheid. And it's like, girl, you literally are spreading your legs for Hamas. That's who you are. That's what you do. That's what you do. So there's a thing where I'm asking for people to, like you, who have been on the right side of just saying, like, I'm really for these children. And it's tragic as fuck at what is going on and seeing how many people are being killed. But it's also understanding that Hamas is completely surrounding themselves with all of this innocence. The fact that they are asked to leave, being civilians, run to this area, get away from here. And Hamas is then killing people and then telling them to get back into their fucking homes or get back into the hospitals. The other clip that you showed was the fact of the UN, which you want to bring that up. This one right here, which is that these UN RWA teachers have been found to be holding hostages in their attics. And so Germany is like, we are no longer funding this fucking operation. We are no longer putting money into this UN program that was supposed to be built for refugees and for peace. And it's interesting to see how infiltrated everything is with actual terrorists, where now you have to say everybody's losing. Everybody is losing from this because this is how toxic Hamas is. It is the cancer that is of Palestine. It has completely brainwashed, abducted, and killed its own people. And when you look at the fact that the doctors, remember we were talking about in the last episode, that doctors are being asked about Hamas, and they're over here like, no, I don't. Why you ask me about Hamas? I don't know anything about Hamas. These people are dying. And then now here it is on video that hostages were brought to that same hospital, and they're like, well, wait a minute, but you were saying you don't know anything about this, but here's all the stuff that's documented that hostages were brought to you. So it's really fucked up when we're looking at what's being put out there on mainstream media. When you're looking at all the things that have been happening. And it's like, yes, we are asking for a ceasefire, but it's not just from Israel. This is a ceasefire for everybody to put down their fucking weapons. Full stop. But if you're going to say, okay, well, I'm only for Israel putting down their weapons, then you have a fucking problem and you need to check yourself. Because that's your own bias showing at this point.
You know what the only problem I see with that is? There's a reason that we adopted the saying, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Because the good faith conversations are rarely had in those situations. It's always about, so like you just said, it's always about manipulation. It's always about, moving the chess piece. It's not about peace. And
Hamas played their hand. They're doing a phenomenal job with information or misinformation at this point. And they have backing. They're backed by Russia. They're backed by China.
This was planned. They clearly have some funding from somewhere else. And
well, Iran, we know where that's coming from as well. But we're seeing it play out. And this is why I keep saying to everybody, don't be in a rush to be the first one to share some fucking story.
Especially about this. This
is when you talk about with delegate gloves, this is the part where we all need to sit back and just be neutral on how can we help people who actually are innocent in this situation, which we understand are the children. But at the same time, when you're looking at the heinous acts that happened on October 7th, you can't lose that as part of this conversation. No. You can't lose the fact that October 6th, the debate was not happening of the occupiers and all this other shit. I understand that there has been a conversation that needs to be had. That is different. But I don't see Black Panthers running up anywhere raping children. That's the part where I'm like, fuck your whole entire operation. Because this right here is something that we absolutely need to stop. Plain and simple.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have no argument there. I think the one thing I'll add to that is what I would like everybody to remember is that all these kids, all these teenagers, all these young people in their 20s, they are being desensitized to the point that you just said. Living around that day in and day out desensitizes a person. And then you add, on top of that desensitization, you add anger. You add, you want retribution. You want those things. And that's how terrorist organizations are formed. That's how terrorists are turned.
It's a breeding ground. It's an absolute breeding ground. And there are amazing operations happening within the Middle East that are Palestinian and Israeli groups that are working together for peace, that are actually trying to build real peace. And I'm like, this is what needs to be getting more light on. This is what needs to be more shared and focused on.
Let's talk about that next week.
I will absolutely bring that to you. What just happened in Jerusalem was a drive-by shooting at a bus stop, killing a 24-year-old woman, pregnant woman. When you're talking about a ceasefire, this shit's a joke when it's one-sided. And this is the part where it's like, we need to have an actual conversation. Hamas did not come through with keeping the peace on this. And anybody who feels that they need to throw up a watermelon or any flag and say, we need a ceasefire and this is heinous. It's like, you got only one person to talk to. That's your own fucking corner at this point. Since you chose a side, talk to your fucking corner.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Well, I think that's a good place to leave it for today and for this week, brother. No, man, I mean,
hey, upset. That's what we can leave it. My blood.
Yeah.
Up here.
Blood pressure. See, mine came down. I'm good now.
Oh, okay. Well, you've kicked the hornet's
I
nest.
did.
You got to say
I did.
well, look, all I can say is thank you for this opportunity to share and talk about these stories. I will definitely bring up the peaceful
let's talk about
community that exists, that is really shining light on this situation. And also I want to talk about the politics of Netanyahu and seeing his cabinet fall, because they need to go. They are some war criminals, and they definitely need to be looked at in such a way, because for allowing this to happen.
Let's be one of the platforms that talks about that and the more positive stuff that needs more light shined on it. But with that,
the more
we know, Mr. LeVar Burton. But I just want to end on a little bit of a serious note for me. Anybody that has been supporting me over the years, but particularly over the last 2-3 weeks, I just wanted to say sincerely thank you. My family and I, when we go through this stuff and we get doxxed, and it comes in ebbs and flows. It's just the way that it is. But the people that support us and the people that send us the positive messages, the positive DMs, and I see you guys in the comments, whether I'm commenting back or not. I try to like it all, and but from a mental health, sometimes I just have to stop looking at the comments, which I know you guys can appreciate that too. So
absolutely. Actually, please end it this way. To those who wrote that hateful ass shit, in the quote of one of my favorite founders of X, go fuck yourself.
And
go fuck yourself.
And with that, we'll see you next week. Much love and keep fighting.